There are parts of ourselves we don't like to look at. Not because they're small, but because they keep showing up. The same patterns, the same thoughts, the same things we tell ourselves we should have figured out by now. Welcome to OpenLab Curiosity, intelligent conversations about the questions people are too curious to ignore. Today's question is simple, but it's an uncomfortable one. Why do we judge parts of ourselves? If you really think about it, we don't judge everything about ourselves. There are parts we're fine with, parts that we accept. Then there are certain areas where we are much harder on ourselves. And it's usually not random. It shows up in patterns. Things we feel like we should have outgrown, but we haven't. To make it relatable and some examples from our own life, it could be something like this. Starting things with intention, but not always finishing them. Big one for me. Looking around and feeling like you're behind, even though you're moving. Another one. Finding yourself in the same situations, financially, emotionally, relationally. Or even just having thoughts that don't fit the version of who you think you're supposed to be. And over time, those things don't just exist. They become the things we judge. Maybe this is the real reason for it. We don't just judge ourselves. We judge patterns we don't feel in control of. Because when something keeps repeating and we don't fully understand why, what happens? It then creates tension. And that tension often turns into judgment. So perhaps it's, instead of asking what's going on here, we go straight to why am I like this? That judgment steps in immediately. And that question carries a lot of weight. Because it turns something we could explore into something we feel is wrong with us. So instead of understanding the pattern, we start identifying with it and we enmesh ourselves and our identity into it. Here's perhaps a different way of looking at it. What if those parts of ourselves aren't there to be judged? But what if they are signals? Indicators of something we haven't fully understood yet. Because the movement or the moment you stop reacting to it, you can start to observe it. And the moment we go from reacting to observation, something shifts. There's less pressure and more clarity. So maybe the question, isn't it, how do I get rid of this part of myself? Maybe this is the question. what is this pattern trying to show me? Because once you see that clearly, you're no longer just stuck in it. You can then start to work with it. And perhaps the goal isn't to become the perfect version of yourself. Maybe it's just to understand yourself well enough that you don't have to keep fighting the same things over and over. Because what we judge often holds the answers we've been avoiding for so long. This has been OpenLab Curiosity, and I'll see you in the next question. Until then, remember, stay curious.